Hey everyone, and welcome back to yet another review. I'm your host, as ever, Purple Midnight 8, joined as ever by Amelia, my wife, the Obsidian Nook, Petal ASMR. Is that it for your list of credits, or is there some more that you need to plug?
No, but you can plug our third co-host Instagram.
Of course, we are joined this time by Stuzzy Pan Fluffington the Third. Uh, of course, he makes a regular guest appearance on the channel. He is usually referenced in some way. Usually he would sit with us and watch the film while he's getting a belly rub or something like that. Uh,
He didn't actually watch it tonight, but he's here for the review, so
he's here for the review. He just likes to be a part of it.
he's trying, guys.
Occasionally he does like to actually watch the films with us as well as sit with us for the review, but because he's a cat, he can't sit still for that long. Um, he's a cat. He has his own Instagram for his biscuit company, which he inherited from Silver.
Risk
Uh,
it for a biscuit.
the Risk It for a Biscuit company. Named by me, but he is the CEO along with the other two who are his employees. But enough about Stasi Pan Fluffington III, even though he is the first of his name. That isn't a title. His name is Stasi Pan Fluffington III. He's Stasi Pan Fluffington III, the first of his name. So if he had a child that he called Stasi Pan Fluffington III, it'd be Stasi Pan Fluffington III, the second. Which will never happen.
He's been neutered.
He
So.
he he can't have children, but he's a little fluffster. But anyway,
I think he would hit his own children. Granddad.
yeah, he's a bit of an abusive cat. He abuses the others. Well, the others abuse him, but he used to abuse Silver. Anyway, enough about abuse and cats. We are back with a different kind of animal. We are here with Werewolf by Night, the Marvel debut on the channel. Which is weird considering we've covered 50 films and not covered a Marvel. Mainly because Morgan has done one review, and that is it. And it's still the number one on the channel, and it makes me so sad how close some stuff gets.
T-shirts where it's like, where's more?
We're gonna have a wanted poster with his fucking mask on it as a t-shirt. Anyway, of course, we are here with Werewolf by Night, the Disney Plus exclusive. Of course,
Disclaimer: the audio should sound a lot better for you.
I forgot to mention we have a new headset
We
with a new
upgraded.
mic. Hopefully, we'll find out when I'm editing this episode whether or not the audio is any better.
You did all. That just came up.
If it came out even worse than the old one, I hope not, because I think this one was more expensive than my old one, and the old one I've had for at least 2 years, probably longer. It's picking the audio up, so there's a good sign it's at least getting something. But we'll find out when I'm editing this whether or not it's actually any better. I meant to talk about that, but I forgot, but thank you for remembering. Anyway, we are here with Werewolf by Night, as I've kept saying, the Marvel TV special that got released last year.
In black and white.
In black and white, in the style of the old horror movies like Dracula and Frankenstein. It's only an hour long. It's a good. There's a teeny bit of colour at the end, but most of it's in black and white.
But there is going to be a color.
The coloured version, I believe, is coming out in a couple of days' time from recording. I think it's the 20th of October. We thought we would sneak in there just beforehand, because it's my turn, and Werewolf by Night I suggested we do this year.
And it is.
Yeah, it's Halloweeny because it's horror. It's the first Marvel horror that's actually good, because they did New Mutants, and I heard that was shit. But yeah, the first Marvel film we're doing is a horror film, and technically it's not a film because it's not the full length. It's only an hour long. They do fit a lot in for an hour, and it doesn't feel like an hour. It just feels like you're watching a TV episode that's like half an hour. But it's definitely worth sitting down and having a watch and just embracing the old school horror inspirations. Oh, look, he's got a little smile on his face. Anyway, enough talking about that. We'll get into the actual film now. This won't be a very long one. This is only a page and a half with dead on 750 words. So apologies if this is shorter than usual. Um, this isn't going to be a bonus episode or anything. This is just one that I wanted to do because we've seen it before. We saw it when it came out. We really enjoyed it, surprisingly, because Marvel can be a bit. This doesn't take itself seriously, to say the least. However, having this Marvel property that's so like basically rated R, like with the gore and stuff, is it's a different turn. Closest we ever got was the Punisher, and that was a fucked up TV series. But well, we won't talk about the Punisher unless we cover a fucking film that had the guy from The Mist in it whose name has completely slipped my mind. You wanted to say something? Go on.
I was gonna say that I actually did quite enjoy this one, and I think they did a really good job on the acting to keep you kind of engrossed.
Yeah, the acting's
Um,
really good.
you
The
know, you read a book and it's like you can't get enough of it, and you just want to keep.
she's above nerd, if you think yes.
You kind of get like that feeling. It's like with that because like you're so interested in it, it doesn't really. You're not sitting there being like, oh, for fuck's sake.
I personally didn't feel like it needed to go past the hour mark. I mean, technically it's only 54 minutes, but I didn't sit there and think this feels rushed. I didn't sit there and think, God, like I wish we had a bit of extra time to fan a story out of it. Because if they did, I feel like it would have just felt a bit
I
bloated.
think if like cause I struggle to watch things because it's too
Plus, Marvel has that,
um
like I say, Marvel doesn't take itself seriously, and eventually you do get sick of one-liners. And Morgan would say the complete opposite. Morgan is a die-hard fan of Marvel, but I only watch it because it's something we can all do. But Werewolf by Night, mm, it's definitely one of my favourite Marvel things they've done in a long time.
I did notice something as well.
Mm.
Um I don't know if everyone else would agree with me on this one, but because it wasn't in colour, it wasn't so overwhelming with my.
Yeah, there is a lot of like flashing lights in this still, but it's plus you're not epileptic, but you do get seizures, so flashing lights for you is not a good thing. Plus, how colourful it probably would have been if it was in colour. Well, we'll find out in 2 days or whatever. Like the amount of colours that could have been in it, especially with Man Thing and all the stuff with the Bloodstone.
I just noticed that because it was probably. I mean, I've seen a little bit of Frankenstein, stepped out, walked down a little bit, but this is like technically my first black and white film that I've seen, and it was a hell of a lot easier to digest it and understand it as well. And I don't know if that's because they took the colour away, so it wasn't like overstimulating.
Yeah, and the fact that it's in black and white, I think, helps towards because the costume itself for the werewolf later on in the film is practical. That does sort of help hide maybe some of the more campy look of it.
I want to say that if you have autism or disability where you struggle with concentration, you get really overstimulated really easily. I think giving this film a go you may actually enjoy it.
As long as you don't like
If you're FMC,
hate
don't watch it.
watch it, because when it's well, we didn't give a spoiler warning, but obviously this film's been out a year and it'll come out in 2 days anyway. When the TVA come in, because the TVA is sort of in the background a lot. I don't know a lot about Marvel. The TVA is well, the TVA has Owen Wilson as one of its members in Loki. That's Loki season 2 is out at the moment, but the TVA basically keeps all the timelines in check. I believe is their sort of thing. Marvel is very confusing.
Yeah.
Yeah, because the long story short is that there's the original timeline of Thanos snapping half the universe away. So then they go back in time. Well, he snaps half the universe away. They go kill him. Then they go back in time and create a universe where they stopped him from doing it. So there's the original one where everyone's dead, and then there's one where they're not. So they just it's that's a lot of bullshit. It's a lot of bullshit we don't have time to go over, and we won't go over because I don't care enough about Marvel unless Morgan rejoins us for these, like I said to you, I feel like in order to get him back for this, I'd need to do a film that he likes in order to make him.
About we just get the public to like find him, and it's a £50 reward.
I'm paying 50 quid. Stasi will. Stasi runs a successful business, so he's just having a wash in a minute. Bless him, he's washing his little leggies. Oh, we went off topic. Basically, the MCU is a mess. This is a standalone Marvel project. Like, this is what, since I think Moon Knight came out before this. I fucking love Moon Knight. I've even got the fucking Lego minifigure of him. And obviously there is the whole comic arc of them two having like a face off. I would love to see that. I would love to review Moon Knight, but it's a long series with lots of long episodes. And we're still trying to wrap our head around on how we could possibly cover them. But it doesn't matter. We'll actually get on with the film now. We spoiled most of it, so there's no point in giving you the spoiler warning, but you can have one anyway. So this is directed by Michael Giacchino, who also scored this film. He did the music for it. Did some really good, like, classic horror score with, like, organs and... It's very orchestral. It's written by Heather Quinn and Peter Cameron, and it's based on the Marvel comic of the same name. Werewolf by Night is his actual name for the superhero, if you wish. He's not just Werewolf, and he's got a special name. He is just his... Like how you got Iron Man and all that, his name is Werewolf by Night. Does that make sense to you?
Mm-hmm.
I must say, we don't read the comics. Films are a complete fucking mystery to me, so if there's stuff we overlook, we apologise. We're not die-hard fans. We just thought this might make a little cool, like, spooky film that everyone can sort of watch because Disney is affordable at the moment. So yeah, we thought we'd just put this out, so we apologise if we get stuff wrong and we don't have a lot of knowledge.
And you can still password share with Disney.
For now, except in Canada, where they're starting to crack down on that. Anyway. So we're getting to the film, going with our little discussion now. It's not going to be a long one, so that's why we've sort of put a bit more at the start, just to sort of get a bit of information beforehand, so this isn't just this isn't just like a page and a half worth of me talking and us at the end going, yeah, we liked it, yeah, we're good, see you next week, whatever. Like, no, we just wanted to put a bit in, a few thoughts, a few little sort of tidbits of information. I've probably been talking for about 10 minutes of nonsense, but we'll get on with the actual discussion now. So, after the death of Ulysses Bloodstone, a funeral is held for him to determine who will take his position as the leader of a group of monster hunters. Jack Russell, like the dog. Everybody laugh. Played by Gail Garcia Bernal, arrives at the You sarcastically laughed, and that made you laugh. You're like, yeah. You were like, you sarcastically laughed at the joke because I was, and then you were like, oh wait, no, that is quite good. Anyway, so he arrives at the lavish Bloodstone Manor. I would like to see this in colour because it's just very dark. It's in black and white, for God's sake. Jovan, played by Kirk Thatcher. We did a bit of research on him because you thought you recognised him. He's done a lot of work with the Muppets, mainly as puppeteers and a few directing credits. But other than that, not a lot else. He introduces himself, claiming over 50 confirmed kills, and they briefly converse about Ulysses and the monster heads mounted on the walls. I'm sure the monster heads on the walls are some sort of like, oh, they're from the comics. We don't know.
This is
I
feel like it was bragging a bit. Like,
this is the dick measuring contest of everyone being like, I've killed so many monsters.
Is that really something?
Yeah, you save lives. Anyway, so Elsa Bloodstone, played by Laura Donnelly, obviously the daughter of Ulysses, who is very dead, confronts her stepmother Verussa, played by Harriet Harris. I did briefly look at her because I thought she was the woman from American Horror Story. She's not. But she's a bitch. She is from Frasier, I believe, is where it said she was from. About her being the heir to the Bloodstone. Verussa speaks to the other hunters. Azariel. There are a lot of weird names in this, so bear with me. Azariel, played by Eugenie Bondurant. I did see that she was in The Conjuring 3. The Devil Made Me Do It. I think that came out this year. Leon, played by Leonardo Lamb. And Barrasso, played by Daniel J. Watts. She unveils Ulysses' corpse. I used to think that was just like a weird fortune teller like style thing of it being fake. But I read up, no, that they actually brought his corpse back and reanimated it so it could speak. Obviously not in real life.
No one's going to question the fact that he's standing up in this coffin and he...
I explained this to you about Rick and Morty. Rick and Morty. I explained about Rick and Morty to you. Rick and Morty. We won't get into that. So she unveils his corpse that begins to speak to them like a puppet. Ulysses tells the hunters that in order to become the leader, they have to slay beasts that will roam in the manor's grounds. Verussa tells them they were going unarmed, but weapons are scattered throughout, with the bloodstone being attached to the monster itself. The guests gather and draw a stone to mark who goes first, with Jack being chosen as the monster roars in the distance. Jack is escorted to the entrance by a man playing a flaming tuba, which is metal as fuck. A tuba that's on fire, which is awesome. Passing some TVA guards as they approach. The reason why the TVA is in this is completely unclear to me because there's nothing to do with like timelines and stuff. It's just the TVA that's just there for whatever reason. I think they are the TVA. I read somewhere that they're TVA, but I can't remember. So Jack makes his way in, followed shortly after by the other hunters, and briefly encounters Elsa. But the two are suddenly attacked by Joven, but Elsa manages to disarm and steal his axe, allowing them to escape. Elsa comes across Leon, who attacks her with a crossbow on his arm, but she slices it off and they fight briefly. Elsa manages to grab his severed arm and shoot him through the throat and out the mouth, slowly killing him as Joven enters the area and retrieves his axe. Yeah, that was grim. He's just like sat there choking to death on his blood while they're hiding. Jack follows the monster's cries, discovering it being an old friend of his called Man-Thing. And the two speak to one another. His name is Ted, like his actual original name is in the comics and stuff. His name is Ted. He's like an elephant man. It's just a big, like, hairy creature. Oh, excuse me. Azariel appears and chases him into a mausoleum where Elsa is taking shelter after having killed Leon. He closes the door behind them and seals them inside by accident. Jack binds Elsa's wounds and the two make a deal to free Man-Thing in exchange for Elsa getting the stone. Elsa breaks open one of the tombs of her relatives, retrieving the key to a door as well as a weapon. I believe it's a grappling hook. She later uses it on Verussa. They go outside and Elsa directs Jack to a weak spot in the wall for him to plant explosives on. Jack accidentally activates it and runs to the wall as Elsa discovers Joven approaching Ted. Ted emerges from the bushes and grabs Joven, disintegrating his head and killing him. Yeah, Man-Thing's powers is fucking scary. The amount of people he just absolutely annihilates, that should be good to see in colour. Elsa informs Ted that Jack is waiting for him, but unfortunately for Jack, the explosive keeps falling from the wall while the other hunters begin to close in. Ted escapes as Elsa removes the stone from him. Jack touches the stone and it repels him away, revealing him to be a hidden monster, which gets him apprehended by Verussa and the TVA alongside Elsa. And he is placed inside a large cage alongside a distrustful Elsa. So yeah, obviously he's the werewolf. He's the werewolf by night. And it's night time in the film. I apologise. Jack begins randomly smelling her in order to try and remember her for when he turns into a monster. Verussa and the surviving hunters enter the chamber, and she uses the bloodstone to force Jack into transforming. Elsa is forced to watch as Jack turns into a werewolf and grabs Verussa for the cage. This gets Jack tased by the nearby TVA, filling the cage with smoke, and in the chaos he manages to break free. Everyone stands on guard before Jack attacks, slaughtering the TVA grunts with ease and attacking Barrasso. God, I forgot Barasso's even in this. Like, he's in the opening scene, and then he's in this bit. Like, I don't even think we see him throughout the whole, like, arena.
I was going to add how throughout the anything that colour.
Yes, the Bloodstone is the only thing in colour. It's a big, bright
It's
red.
really pretty.
It's really pretty, and then towards the end, there's a bit more colour. Elsa breaks free and uses a sword to slit Barasso's throat before she fights Azar as it goes for Jack, repelling him with the stone. Elsa gets the upper hand and plants a sword into Azariel's head and using her grappling hook to pull Verussa to the ground. Elsa retrieves the Bloodstone and approaches the weak Jack. Jack, however, pounces her, but due to his earlier actions, he is able to stop himself from tearing her apart. And then he flees, escaping out the front door as Verussa recovers. Elsa and Verussa have a standoff with one another before Ted jumps through the ceiling, grabs Verussa, and melts the skin off her body before throwing it into Ulysses' coffin. Like, yikes, that bitch is dead. Elsa sits down with a Bloodstone, bringing the film into colour, as Jack awakens outside with Ted, and they joke about the endeavour as the film ends. If you want to call it a film, it's like I think they called it a TV special, kind of. But either way, it's ended. So, Amelia, what were your thoughts?
I really liked it. I thought the actor.
Practical effects. Well, I can't. We say this all the time, but you can't beat practical. The shot was on her, and the light splash. Well, the tasers on. I don't know what it was. I think it might have been the stone shooting him. Was caught like casting his shadow against the wall behind her, and you could see him turning. And the practical costume as well. A lot of this scene where he breaks out was lit by the flickering of the TVA's tasers, because it's like this flashing. So you just see like him jumping through and cleaving these dudes apart. It is excellent. It is a wonderful shot. Anything else you wanted to add?
No, just that.
Cup of tea? Even though you can't buy it on DVD, would you if you could? Probably. Yeah. And if it's in colour, we'll give it another shot probably in a few months after we've just reviewed it. So, best kill and worst kill. The best kill easily goes to Verussa, let's be honest.
We agree.
Really? I thought we agreed on the worst kill.
Well,
Don't spoil it yet. Best kill goes to Verussa, because how can you... Well, that sounds messed up, don't clip this. But how can you not love someone's skin being melted off? It's divine. My worst kill went to Barasso, just because he gets a little throat slit. In a film where a werewolf is mauling people, him just like having his throat slit on the ground is a bit pathetic, if I'm honest. And what about you, babe? You wanted to make a little point there.
I was gonna give the.
Hang on, that didn't pick that up.
I was gonna give the worst kill the model.
You wanted to give it to
I
Azariel.
can't remember.
Yeah.
But I'm sorry. Like,
She didn't say nothing. She just sort of ran around and pouted a little bit and then got a sword in the head. But who are you going to say? Or is that your choice? Sorry.
No, that was my choice. We did like agree on.
Best kill was obviously going to go to Verussa without a doubt. Like, that's just fair. But yeah, that was Werewolf by Night. We are now midway through October. We're going to have a few more spooky films. There will be a Halloween special down the line. But then after that, we're just going to return to mostly non-horror, with maybe one or two every couple of weeks. But for the most part, we're just going to take a break once Halloween is over. But yeah, definitely give this film a watch. You should really have watched. Well, it's coming out tomorrow, I think, when this video comes out. So give the coloured version a watch. But I think the black and white one's going to be super.
I think I prefer black.
Yeah, Because we had the black and white bit is good. Like the black and white helps with us. That's how it was designed to be watched. So I think that's how it should be, if I'm honest. But who knows? The color one could still be really good. But give them both a watch. Treat yourself. Give them both a watch. Not one after another. It'll drive you mad. Maybe have 2 screens on and have one the other. But anyway, thank you ever so much for listening. I've been your host, as always, Purple Midnight, joined by my wife, Amelia, Petal SMR, the Obsidian Nook. You can find her links in the description, along with all of ours. We would also like to give a big shout out to Stasi for sitting around through this bullshit. He sat for a whole review, which is surprising considering it's been, how long? 25 minutes? So well done to him. He must be super comfy. But anyway, thank you ever so much for listening. It's Amelia's turn in a few days. We'll try and get back on schedule. It's been a bit shit recently, so we apologise. I've been working a lot more. Thanks for just elbowing the mic. It could be Jennifer's body, but we told you that it'd be Scream last time, so it could be fucking anything. Don't take our word for it. But again, thank you ever so much for listening, and we will see you next time.